Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful day here in America. Welcome back to the campaign trail. My name is Jared, and today we'll be doing the second part of our pre-analysis of the second Democratic primary debates. In this video, I'm going through each one of the candidates and saying one do and one don't for each candidate for the next round of debates. I wanted to cover every candidate considering this is probably the last time we will see a large chunk of them on stage. Just letting you guys know, this is going to be a very fast-paced video as we have a lot of candidates to get to. This also is structured to where it's like I'm face-to-face with each of these candidates, telling them to their face what they should and shouldn't do. With that being said, let's get started. Michael Bennet. Do take on Joe Biden. You had mild success with this in the last debate, and while every other moderate might be attacking progressives, you will be taking on the guy who has control of the moderate wing of the party. Don't hide from conflict during the debate. A guy like you can be easily lost in the crowd. Keep yourself involved in the discussion. Joe Biden. Do defend your record. You've worked in the federal government for decades. You have a record. Stand by it. Every time you go back on it, it makes you look weaker and inconsistent. Don't seek conflict with anyone. People will attack you, don't attack them. Let yourself have the perception that it's everybody against you. Poor old Joe. Cory Booker. Do take on both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You have reasons to attack both and issues to attack them on. Don't focus your fire on Biden. If Harris joins in, you'll just look like her sidekick. Letting her off the hook would be a mistake. Don't repeat Harris's attack from the first debate. Yes, you started the whole controversy, but Harris got lucky and beat you to it. Tough luck. You need to find a new line of attack or else you'll sound like you're just copying Harris. Steve Bullock. Do highlight your success as a Democratic governor of a red state. You're the only candidate who governs a Republican state. Talk about it and why you're successful doing it. It will make you stand out. Don't act like the new guy on stage. Yes, you are starting from square one here, but a lot of the audience doesn't know that. They could easily think you were in the last debate, they just don't remember you. Let them think that and make sure they don't forget you this time. Pete Buttigieg. Do bridge the gap between moderate and progressive goals. Your policies and attitude reflect values from both wings of the party. Use that to try to bring them together and show that you're the only candidate who can. Don't become a one-man sideshow. Last debate, those who were paying attention to you thought you did well. However, you were overshadowed by Biden and Harris. Don't let that happen this time with Warren and Sanders. Julian Castro. Do force candidates to take positions on issues. One thing you did right last time was that you forced candidates to pick a side on issues, and you controlled the conversation. Keep it up, and people will look to you as a leader. Don't become an attack dog. You do a good job catching others off guard and dismantling them. However, you don't need to let that be what you're known for. Make sure people know who you are and what you stand for. Bill de Blasio. Do call out candidates when they're being dishonest. You're a physically imposing person, and you calling someone out can make them nervous. Good. Use it to your advantage to expose others when they're not being truthful. Don't interrupt for interrupting's sake. You were annoying last time around when you interrupted without a real reason to. Tone it down and make your fewer moments count more. John Delaney. Do stress issues in which you agree with progressives. We understand you're an unapologetic moderate. That's fine. Now find some common ground with progressives so they don't loathe you. Don't lose your spirit of bipartisanship. Your record of bipartisanship in Congress makes you stand out. Don't forget it. Tulsi Gabbard. Do take on Kamala Harris. You've been open about your criticism for Harris since the last debate. Make them known on the debate stage. If Harris is focused on Biden, she might be caught off guard by another candidate, specifically another minority woman candidate, attacking her. Don't turn every question into an answer about foreign policy. I'm sure you have opinions on more than one subject. Make sure the public knows that too. When you fall back on foreign policy, it's a telltale sign you're weak on that issue. Kirsten Gillibrand. Do pick specific issues that you're knowledgeable in and control those conversations. You have the opposite problem of a lot of other candidates. Instead of not involving yourself enough, you're involved in too many discussions. This tends to weaken your answers on all the issues because your focus is spread too thin. Pick one or two issues and work to control the debate over them. Don't insert yourself into every conversation. Like I just said, don't feel the need to be part of every issue. Kamala Harris. Do establish positions on issues you've been vague on in the past. One of the biggest complaints about your campaign is that you seem to flip your positions on issues. Take this opportunity to establish once and for all what your positions are. Don't take on Joe Biden. Focusing on Joe Biden will make you seem repetitive and will take your focus away from other things, such as establishing your positions and the candidates who wish to attack you. John Hickenlooper. Do explain how you were able to pass a Democratic agenda with a Republican legislative branch. It is an impressive feat to pass your agenda with a legislative controlled by the other party. This is a very real possibility for Democrats should they win the White House in 2020. Make sure people know you can do it again at the federal level. Don't attack socialism as a movement. You don't like socialism and think it's bad for the party. Fine, but you need to address certain policies, not the movement itself. Otherwise, you're alienating voters who you will need in the general election. Jay Inslee. Do stress your success on challenging Trump's actions in court. Your state of Washington has been successful challenging many of Trump's policies. Use your knowledge and success in this area to help state the case why you'd be best to take on Trump. Don't talk about climate change. We get it. You think climate change is important. Now please, for the love of God, talk about something else. Amy Klobuchar. Do focus on results and expectations. There are a lot of voters in the Democratic electorate that are looking for someone who knows how to get things done, not just say they'll get it done. Use your focus on this to appeal to those voters. Don't be soft in your critiques of others' policy. You've been critical of certain policies that have become mainstream within the candidates. Don't hide your criticism. You've been blunt during your time as a senator. No need to change that now. Beto O'Rourke. Do find a message for your campaign and stick with it. I feel like you've rebranded your campaign at least 3 times by now. Stop it. Pick a message and ride it until it sails or sinks. It's a better option than constantly changing. Don't rely on gimmicks to make you stand out. People will like you for your ideas if they like you, not because you can speak Spanish on exactly half the answers you give during the debate. Tim Ryan. Do focus on policies that define your candidacy. What does President Ryan look like? I don't know, and most Americans couldn't tell you either. Change that. Focus on yourself and what policies define you. Don't talk about the Democratic Party at large. You're playing with fire when you do this, so don't do it. The last time you tried this, you were completely ignored. Frankly, you're just not a big enough force in the party to make this work. Bernie Sanders. Do take on Elizabeth Warren. You don't have a choice. Either Warren continues to gain steam at your expense or you stop her dead in her tracks now. If you don't do it now, you might not get another chance. Don't use revolutionary language. It's off-putting and doesn't replace an actual answer to what the moderators are asking. Elizabeth Warren. Do focus on specifics of your own policies. This, to many people, gives you a leg up over Sanders. Focus on this to hurt Sanders without actually taking him on. Don't take on Bernie Sanders. You are guaranteed to benefit if the Warren versus Sanders debate never happens, so don't feel the need to force it. Marianne Williamson. Do engage in the debate being held. It feels like you hear a different question than everybody else when you answer. Keep yourself focused on the issue being discussed. Don't go off on tangents. Like I said, keep yourself focused and don't waste precious debate time on odd tangents. Andrew Yang. Do learn how to navigate a group debate. You're strong with some one-on-one discussion, but in a group setting you get lost. Don't let that happen again, or once again you'll be the candidate with the least amount of speaking time. Don't bring up unnecessary issues. You have a policy for every issue under the sun, even the ones that most Americans don't care about. Know which ones are which. And with that, that covers all 20 candidates and gives one do and one don't for each of them in these upcoming debates. I hope you guys enjoyed this format. If you have any suggestions, they are always welcomed in the comments. But what do you guys think? What are some do's and don'ts that you can think of for the candidates? You can also let me know that down in the comments. Remember, if you like what you see in here, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more great coverage of election 2020. If you have any friends that are also interested in these topics, send them on over here. We're always welcoming people of all ideological backgrounds. With all that being said, my name is Jared, and I'll see you guys next time on the campaign trail.